So we've talked about what a percentage is. We've talked about percentages of a whole, being part of a pizza, etc. But we don't usually want to find percentages of a whole. We usually want to find percentages of something. So the percentage of people that turned up to a show that had bought tickets, the percentage of people who bought hot dogs at the canteen today out of all the people who shopped there. So it's an out of thing. It's like a fraction thing. And what we need to do is we need to have a way of setting it out that we always use, even though when we haven't got calculators, we may need to do a little bit of working out the side. So if we've got nice common ones, so common percentages, again, those are those same numbers we looked at yesterday. Monday. So things like 50% and 25%. Yeah, we know that one. And 10%. And multiples of these perhaps. We can find those things pretty easily. All right? So if the question said something like, what is 50% of 212 people, we can find the answer fairly easy because what are we doing? Lexi? Halving. For 50%, we are just halving. So if we know that, we can pretty much find the answer straight away. So we know the answer is going to be 106. That's what we know. What we need to be able to do is have a method, though. So we need to have some working that we write down, even if we know the answer. All right? So if we know it's 50%, the percent part comes in as 50 out of 100. So that out of 100 part represents percent. 50%. All right? 50%. Okay? And of, what's the mathematical calculation for an of? When we have of, there's a calculation that we always use. What is it? Of is the same as
divide.
No, other times. All right. So of and times. All right. And then 212. So we would write down as our working 50 over 100 times 212. We know 50 over 100 is a half. We know we're halving. We don't need a calculator to do that. That is called a common percentage. We know to halve. So what are we doing if we have 25%? What is 25% of 80 lollies? All right, 25%, Archie? We're quartering it. It's a quarter. All right, a quarter. I don't know how to spell quarter. I think I had it right first. I don't know, we never write it in words. A quarter, right? So when we have a quarter, what are we doing? Yes, but what are we doing? Esther? Dividing by 4. So we can see that the answer is 20. All right? We just have to write some working down. So 25 over 100 times 80 equals 20. That's just using our brain. We should say what we found. In this case, it was people. Should always have our answer. In this case, it was lollies. All right, so what would we do for 10%? Taylor? Divide by 10, right? There are 10 tens and 100. All right, so for 10%, we'd be dividing by 10. So if we raise it up some stakes and we ask this, let's have a strategy, even though we know the working we would write, because if we had a calculator, we would use this working, for 16% of 86. All right, I don't even know what 86 is this time. It's just a number today. Right, what's the strategy we could use? What strategy could we use? Esther?
16 divided by 100 times 86.
That is going to be our working, but that's still not going to be easy to do without a calculator. That is what we're going to write. Over here, we're going to work it out. How are we going to do that?
Find out what a tenth is.
Good. Let's find 10% first. What is that? Pretty easy because we're just dividing by 10 like we said. So 86 divided by 10 is? 8.6. So we've got the 10% so far.
And then find 1%.
Good. Find 1% and that would be?
0.86.
Good. Now what?
And then times 0.86 by 6.
We want 6 1% because it's 16. We want 6 of them. So times by 6 is 6 6 is the 36. 6 8 are 42 plus that is 5.4.
6 8 is
48. That'll be even better. 6. That's right.
And then
No, that's not right. Okay, try again. 36 and 6 8s are 48 plus 3 is 51. Right.
And then so that's the 6 for the 16, and then add the 8.6.
Add the 8.6 on and we get 13.76. So even without a calculator, we can pretty easily find any percentages we want, but we're going to have to do some multiplying to find them, all right? But this is the working that we would show. That's what we would put in our calculator from this test onwards. We will never be required to do it without a calculator again. All right? Now, the next question I have for you is, what is a multiplier? Ollie?
One side of the multiplication.
Close. Yes, one part of the, yes. Okay, I'm going with yes. It's the thing we're multiplying by. That's the fancy name for something we are multiplying by. Now, we are multiplying by this. And when we are doing percentages, we sometimes want to use a decimal. What is that as a decimal? Kelly
0.16.
0.16. That was the pieces we used. 1 and 6 of these. All right? This multiplier comes in very handy sometimes, rather than using fractions. So we might have 12.5%. All right? We don't want to do 10 and then 2 and then half of a 1. So if we were using a calculator for this, what would the multiplier be?
25.
Good. 0.125. Can anybody tell me what fraction that is? Clement?
1/8.
1/8. All right. This is 1/8. GST, do you know what that is? Everybody's heard of it, right? Used to be 12.5%, 1/8 of whatever you were buying. Now it is 15%. Good. All right.